All right, good to see you all coming in. Um, Today we spoke about using a wall. So if you weren't on the call last week, if it is doable for you to come to a wall, even better, a corner. So I've got this corner happening here. If not, it can be done on the ground as well. We'll just have to play a little bit with how that's going to work. Today I have a block, I have a strap, and I have a toted set. Okay, whether you like your plus size or your regular size is up to you. We're going to continue, if you were in class with me today or even yesterday, when working on shoulder mobility. And so we're going to go ahead and continue with that as we look to build out freedom in the line of the shoulders. Okay, so that's where we're headed today. That's what we're going to be about. So as we start, we're going to start right off the bat with our check-in. We're 45 minutes in this class, so we're going to go right into a check-in. And for that, we're going to use the strap, and then we're going to do a similar movement without the strap. Okay, and this is just going to take the shoulders through range of motion. Okay, so we're starting really pretty basic here. Before you even grab your strap, just take the arms up and freely raise them, and then exhale, drop them down. Right, and then make it more purposeful. Bring them through the front, and then drop them down. Okay, take them through the back, and then drop them down. Awesome, and then nice big rolls all the way through. One way, and then the back to the front. Good. Take the left arm up, a little side bend. Let that right shoulder drop. Kind of notice how the right side feels, the left side, and think of this neck to shoulder. Okay, and then up. And then we're going to come to the other side, up, and then bend. And again, check out how this neck to shoulder feels on the left, and also as the right lifts up. What is that line like? Top of the shoulders to the neck. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead now and grab our strap. And we'll do, again, this nice mobility drill. I really like coming back and working the same area in the body for a consistent period of time. I just find it's a lot, there's a lot of value in that versus getting a one-off class of hitting a little bit of everything. So we're living in shoulders a little bit right now, okay? So plenty big, right? Plenty of room. Inhale up, exhale over. Right? Inhale and exhale down the front. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's go around the world. 1 and back to the front. Let's do it again. 2 and back to the front. And just notice, is there resistance? Is there clicking? Right? How does this feel? And not just in the shoulders, how does the neck feel? Right? How does the upper back feel? How does the lower back feel? It's rotating opposite way. And we're going to do one more here. Awesome. Shake it out. Cool. Setting it down. Okay. So we're going to do, so there's one check-in, right? Just freedom of movement. And as we stand and do this, there's a lot of extra kind of ability to move other parts of the body to accommodate with what's happening with the shoulders. So we're going to take, looking at this same idea of just range of motion and rotation without having all that freedom to move throughout the spine, the ribs, the waist, and all that extra stuff. So this one's going to come from being in a child's pose, okay? And I'm going to show you from this profile here. So we're going to come down and be on the knees, and we're going to come to child's pose. And let's just take a couple of breaths. Child's pose may be super easy, lovely for you, but it takes me usually a couple of breaths to get there. So let's do that, because I'd like this seat to be really comfortable. So if you're not, right, and you tend to lift up and raise, then put some padding so that the hips can rest onto something. They don't need to feel like they're hovered in the air. If it's the tops of the feet, right, we can place the blanket under that way and let the top of the feet dangle off so it's not so intense on the front of the foot and the ankle, but create a base we want for this child's pose to be really soft, right, and easy to land. So begin to take the hands out, right, and then inhale, come forward. Tilt the tail, exhale, come back. All right, rock. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, tilt the tail a little bit and come back. Again, rock. Again, inhale, come forward. Exhale, sit back. All right, now you rock a little bit. And then we're going to see if we can let the forehead rest, okay? If the forehead is not hitting to the ground, then a block is great. Your blanket could work well too, okay? Or you could use the opposite hand. We're going to start with the right arm, and we're going to create some tension in the system. So by doing that, it means I'm going to make a fist, and I'm going to think about keeping my arm really straight, okay? And as much as possible, again, we're moving to get some glide in the joint. So I want to think about a little bit of a reach as I go for this movement, not a jabbing in necessarily. I want some freedom, okay? And I want to keep some tension in the arm. So here we go. We're going to come on down. And again, I'm starting with the right arm. Okay, I'm going to lift the right arm. I'm going to try not to dump into the left or pivot the shoulders or change anything about my body except for the movement of the right arm. So inhale, take the right arm up, begin to rotate it back, traveling, and the palm is up, and it drops down by the heel. Okay, lifting up, reach, take it up as long as you can, and then when you need to, rotate, pivoting it around. Again, right arm up, trying not to, again, dump weight or change the system. Rotate and hand back down. Inhale, lifting up as high as you can, and then rotate in the air and come back around. Awesome. One more. Inhale up, high as you can. Go for the rotation all the way through, and then set it down. And then inhale, lift it up. Again, rotate it around and come on back. Release the hand. Left. Again, try not to push to the right when you come to the left. So reach to the left and lift it up. Okay. Try to stay balanced. Inhale, take the arm up, and then when you need, rotate it and take it back. Inhale, lifting it up. Rotate all the way around and bring the hand down. Inhale, notice when you're compensating amongst the torso, the shoulders shifting, the ribs, and just do your best to minimize. Up, around, and down. One more. Up, rotate, go as high as you can, and then turn it around. Lower down. Lift up as much as you can. Rotate it around, and then come down. Exhale, hands under shoulders, chin to the chest, and come on up. How is that, guys? I find that tricky stuff. Okay, so there's where we start. There's where we kind of felt our nooks and crannies. Let's get into now some release work. I want to start off with the shoulder cuff. Okay, so we're going to start off with a little deltoid roll, and then we're going to go into my new favorite, aka the linebacker. Okay, so taking out, I've got just the one. I'm going to have my other one at the ready, and we're going to shimmy ourselves up towards the wall. So whatever you want to use here, I'm taking time. We're working around this cap sleeve muscle group, and then we'll circle the front, the out, and the back, and then we'll see what else we can find in the area. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to lean into the wall. It's my left side, so my left foot is forward, and then I'm going to shimmy forward and back here. So rotating, putting just the pressure I'm comfortable with here. This falls under the line of like the simplest looking thing that has just such amazing benefits. Love, love, love this one. So here we go, right? Working through it. How's the breath? Simple movement. Check in, make sure those inhales and exhales are smooth. I'm gonna make about 4 more swipes here. 2, 3, 1 more. Awesome. Okay, bring it right to the outside the medial deltoid, and we're gonna go ahead and make these circles. Nice little circles. And you can bend both knees. I like doing that better than tilting at the waist. That starts to get me kind of imbalanced and awkward. So I'm gonna do this little chug of both knees bending. Let's reverse it, take it the opposite direction. Draw those circles backwards as they are. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. And then maybe just a little extra pressure lean, a little sustained compression. And take 3 breaths, sustained compression on the outside, the lateral side of the deltoid. Okay, and then we're going to come around and we're going to make those circles on the front side. So as you shift yourself back, you're going to make little circles. And this is a nice one, I think, to do in a corner too. Okay, but if you don't have the corner, you can find your way to kind of wedge up a little bit in there. And if you need more space, then this is where that block comes in real handy and will give a little more of a gap from the wall. So I can hold this with my opposite hand, right, as I make the circles here, or I may find the space to do that just on the wall. If it's a small block, the pressure alone may keep the block there, otherwise the other hand's gonna wanna hold it. Other direction. Awesome. And then from here, let's go ahead and take it to the back side. Okay, so we're gonna come into the back side of still the upper arm. Okay, so that swipe is gonna take me around the back side of the upper arm, and I'm leaning into the pressure here, circling out. Again, I can do the chugs, bending both knees. Let's take these in the other direction. And then coming back through, finishing back off with a swiping, or if there was a spot you wanted to go back for that extra little chugging, go ahead and do so. We are going to do 2 more rounds of sustained compression. The first round of sustained compression is going to have us coming back to revisit the anterior, the front side. And here again, I can turn my body if I have that corner, it makes it a lot freer, or I can use my block, or I can work some rotation back through here. Still in the arm, not coming into the chest muscles, although I get it. If you're there, it feels really good, so feel free to live there. Okay, let's see if we can swipe it through and get that sustained compression on the posterior side. And again, I'm really just trying to stay in the arm. I like a little rotation here, how that kind of pulls through and lengthens the muscle a bit on the compression. And if you just got to get over there and cross into the external rotators, which is just on the other side of the armpit to the back, right? Connecting through there. I get it too. Feels amazing, I think. Let's just take a few more breaths. Again, adding maybe a little rotation, a little more lean of the hips coming towards the wall. And then we'll finish it off swiping 3 times. 2 and 3. Awesome. Come on off. Set the ball down. Take a moment. 2 arms. Close the eyes. And just notice how they feel, where they drop. Okay. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So coming through right side. We started swiping forward and through. Right foot's forward. My distance away from the wall makes sense to the amount of pressure that I'd like to put on. Okay. My stance is of such that I don't have any discomfort resting in the lower back. I'm not totally crooked, that I'm just leaning into a hip, trying to stay fairly upright, although we have a little bit of a lean, so I know that's tricky. Neck feels good. Jaw and throat, teeth unclenched, and just again, tuning into the movement, the sensation, and my breath. We've got a good another 30 seconds here, swiping across and across. And this right arm for me, it's my strength arm. It's the one that loves to dominate, so it's ropey. I can feel the click, click, the ropiness of the muscles. Not a favorite thing. Doesn't have to be like that, right? So as I use my breath and my mindset to calm the system, the hope is that those receptors in the tissues are in turn calming and allowing just more acceptance of the movement, of the massage. Okay. Let's come just to that circling on the lateral on the outside. So we're going to do these little chugs here, chugging through, circling one direction. And circle in the other direction. So this as we go for our more of kind of 90 seconds of depth on this, you know, we're doing a combination here of the circles. And then we're going to add that sustained compression. Let's do a few more swipes of the circles. 3 and 2. Nice. And then here's that sustained compression. And if you want to angle more to get in, lean more, lean more. If you want to get a little bit of a pin and stretch, right, you're leaning into it and then maybe coming a little bit against the wall, right? Upper body then begins to bend in and you think of more of a bow and you're just putting the littlest bit of stretch on that compression. And again, the further the feet come away from the wall, the greater the lean, the greater the compression. And we don't want to feel like we're in battle with the muscle, like it's not a standoff. How hard can I push? How hard can it resist, right? It's the two coming together, that the pressure is encouraging release. The pressure should not be encouraging resistance. If it is, it's too much pressure. All right, so from here, let's swipe through again. Just rolling through. Little less ropey, not perfect, but it's a little less ropey. And then we're going to come to that anterior portion. So I'm going to need to turn a little bit differently towards the wall to make that happen. Again, you can take your block and use the block as well. We're settling in here and we're making these circles. We're making these little circles here. I'm going to do that with the chug, bending the knees, dipping down and up. or you can just lean on and rock a little bit. That's fine too. I love the circles. I like it how it gets the top and the bottom, oops, and all the way through. I'm gonna go without the block. Got enough space as this corner's hitting me just fine. And then let's go in the opposite direction. Drawing in here. I'm trying to stay more in that arm portion than coming into the chest muscles, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then we'll come to our compression here. So I'm lean into it in a way that makes sense. And just a little raise of the arm will definitely change, just a little bit of pin and stretch. Staying with it. Maybe shifting a bit of the area. Two more breaths. Awesome. When you finish that, we're going to go back to the swiping, a few swipes through, front to back to front, front to back to front, front to back to front. Come on back to the back, and we're going to leave it there. And again, we're going to do our circles. Again, I'm trying to stay on the back portion of the cap sleeve of my arm. If you want to turn all the way into the room, you can do that too. And go the other direction, circling in opposition. Mm-hmm. Three, staying with, rubbing through. And then we're going to shift, as you're willing, into sustained compression to that area. This is one where I always get it tracking right up through. It's an easy connection for me right up through the traps and into the sides of the neck. And that is where we're heading next. And you can add a little bit of rotation. Right? So if you start more forward, really draw into it, you can get a little bit of that pin and stretch technique by beginning to rotate back towards the right. We got a good 3 more breaths here. Staying with, smooth and steady. Okay, and then we'll do some swiping here just to finish off. Bounce it back out 1, swiping back across 2, making our way through, and 3. Awesome. Okay, set it down. Take a moment. How are the arms? I'm so glad I did my right, because coming out of the left, I gotta tell you, I felt like one long arm. They're feeling pretty balanced now, but still more to address up above. Okay, so this is where we're gonna head. This is where a corner will serve you well, but you can always use the wall, and you can always use the ground. So we've done this, probably done this with me before, where we draw the balls underneath the upper traps, and we recline on them, elevate the hips, and drive into these tough muscles up at the top. We're gonna hit the same area, but we're doing it in a different fashion. And with it, the intensity and the direction is going to be, I think, more up to you. You're going to have more room to play. So grab one of your balls, leave the other one down, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and start from my left side again. So my right side will be free, and I'm bringing my left upper trap, setting the ball into the wall, okay? So in terms of the stance of the legs, right, it can be a bent, even stance moving forward, but I like to have a little more oomph and feeling more balanced in my legs. So I'm going to start with my left foot forward and leave my right foot back as if I was in like a super tiny warrior one. And then I just hinged from the warrior one, right? So I've got this really strong, stable base, and then I'm just shifting forward. Ball's going into the wall right here. And then here you are. Here we are, hanging out. So again, I get to decide exactly the amount of pressure I'm wanting to put into the balls, and I get to decide where that ball is hitting on the top of the shoulder, the side back of the shoulder, or a little bit front, more in towards the upper portion of the collarbone. Okay, and then from here, my left arm, that's where I've got the shoulder, I'm just softening that arm down. Right there, growing a little longer through the sides of the neck. Right, and then you've got some hang swing. You can do a little hang swing. This would be the pin and the stretch. I'm pinning up here, and then I'm getting a little movement in the stretch down below of the arm. Or I can continue to move a little bit, right? You have a little bit of movement, inches, forward and back, drawing in. And then the other movement I like to do for the pin and stretch is thinking of pinning the shoulder and then seeing what sort of freedom you get for the neck. So as I draw down into this portion, you can turn my head up, right ear towards the sky, and then down, and the left ear towards the sky. And the right ear towards the sky, and the left ear towards the sky. And then a little rotation towards the right, opening up. So almost as if I was going to be in a triangle, like a twist. That's how that upper body kind of feels. Or I can come back towards the ground. And all the time I'm digging into, again, the pressure that I'm happy with here. If you'd like the ball to shift up and nuzzle in closer to the neck, side of the neck versus the top of the shoulder, that real estate is available as well. So you can reposition the ball and just lean a little bit into that space. Stay with your work that you're doing here. I'm going to give the alternative as a reminder of what you could do on the ground should you prefer to switch or not have your wall. Okay, so I've got my block and I've got my two balls because we'll do both sides at the same time if we're here. Okay, let's continue on the wall, it's all up to you. I'm going to place the two balls into that meaty part of the muscle. Okay, it's a little bit lower than sitting on top. You can feel the difference. And I'm going to lift up and place my block, whatever height I appreciate the pressure coming into that place. So here we are. The movement could be with the arms, right, reclined, or all of this takes place just in a standing position. Okay, so here you are if you're doing the double and they're reclined, or we're still on the wall for another good 30 seconds. So far what we've been doing in terms of working the deltoid and now this group is really supporting the health of the tissues that raise the arms, right? The muscle groups that raise up. And as we know, we did our rotation, that was half of what we were doing. So let's continue and take this now to the opposite side. Okay, let's see what this brings. We're going to work into that same area again. nuzzling in. Switch out your ball. As I said, this is a good deal of pressure. I'm sure you can get a sense of that. And then you're going to work into those same tissues, okay? So I would not be looking at you because I've got my right side in, but I'll see if I can show you another way to do it. Should you want to try something else, I can take my block long, my ball here, and drive it this way. So here we go from the side. If I wanted to, I got to make sure that my block is stable. I'm creating my own corner here, and then I'm going to drive that in, and then it's pretty much staying, or I can use my left, and I can find what I need. You won't have quite as much real estate to move around in, but it works. And so if you were really feeling that the neck wasn't free to turn, or the positioning was, you know, causing tension elsewhere in the chain of being so close to the wall, you've got the block to provide that space. And again, I'm just driving it into the area. I've got some room to go up and down. I don't have much room to go side to side. So you'll have to be, if you're using this one with the block, unless your block's pretty thick, you're going to need to get a little more creative in the ways of which you'd like to get to those tissues. One final alternative, if all of that is too intense, just use your hand. Just use the opposite hand and give yourself a massage. I'm just pressing the ball down, releasing the shoulder. I can come up into the side of the neck. I can do a little turning, right? There's my pin and stretch where I'm moving the ball, not my body. So this works well if we're in an upright position, if you didn't prefer either one of those. If you did, we're still in it. Yeah, we're still in it. We're still working it. I see, I don't have too much space there. You're gonna need to level out with a little bit of a lift. You can try getting lower, right? Coming more to the back side of that same muscle group. That'll get you a little more to the back side of it. Or come up a little bit higher and work more towards the collarbone. Right? You can go ahead and try to go up and down and reach all of that area. Right? Or if there's that place of interest, then we just stay there. Make sure you're not on nerve. So you can definitely feel maybe a sense of release coming down through the arm, but you don't want to feel any zinging or any like little electric alive, right? It's on a nerve and we want to stay off those tissues. So we've got about another good 30 seconds. So staying with, again. Two more breaths. And then come off completely. I'll take a moment and just stand tall. Or if you're reclined, you can recline. Just breathe through all those areas that your ball was just nurturing. Awesome. So the last place that we're going to go for our massage is a tracing of the shoulder blade, right? So we're working the muscles that help to lift the shoulders. We're working those muscles that can tend to create tension as they overwork to lift the arms. But what we want to do is now free the space so that the shoulder blades are able to glide and roll freely around. So I'm going to do this standing, and again, I'm going to use the wall, but you can absolutely do this on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and again, I'm looking to trace through the shoulder blade, right? In and around. So I'm going to find my spot on the wall. Okay. I'm going to rotate myself till I get right into the tracing of the shoulder blade. And then I can go up and down here. Working, again, trying to trace across and up and around. Okay? Going in the inside of the shoulder blade, okay? And then maybe even up around to the top. Up around the top of the shoulder blade and down on the inside. Okay? And readjust the ball as you need. Right. You can add some nice pin and stretch. I think this is the great place to do it. As we're looking for full movement, we were going and hoping to find some glide. So as you do these, if you're joining me, let's go with a bent elbow. Bending the elbow, working in, and then generally as you open up, bringing the arm across the body, you can really get into the inside and underneath of the shoulder blade. And dropping the arm low, we find ourselves circling back to that upper area we were close by, and then coming down. Okay. Let's take 3 more breaths. Awesome. And then we'll come off. Ha. Same thing, switch your ball other side. This one I'll do recline just to give another viewpoint. So if I want to do this one recline, there's more pressure this way and it can be a little funky to keep in, but here we go. I'm going to rock it right into there to start. And then from here, I like to hold the head in the hands because otherwise the neck is getting too much, right, to hang out. I don't like the way that stresses me out. And then I'm moving, so the block really won't work. So now I'm shifting my body to roll in through just more the upper portion of the tracing of the shoulder blade. Right, and then when I come down, I'm going to get to the inside. And as I get to the inside again, now I can set my head down because I'm on the inside of the shoulder blade. And I'm going to go ahead and trace that arm across so I can really open up underneath the wingspan. And here again, I can either rock my body, more pressure or less, or I can try to chug it a little bit up and down. Right? I don't think you get as much large tracing when you're down on the ground, but I do think you can get deeper, smaller area work. So it really is a matter of what you are looking for. But again, the idea that we're trying to go for is to get freedom in that tracing outline of the shoulder blade. And then again, we've got about 3 to 4 more breaths here, whether you're up or you're down. Smooth and even, continuing with the breath, tracing. And then release. Okay. We're going to do one swipe just across the back, wingspan to wingspan. Okay. So I'm starting on the right side and I'm not on the arm, shoulder blade, and I'm going to go across to the left side. Okay. And then I'm going to go all the way across to the right side. And I'm just going across again, the breadth of the shoulder blades, just across and 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 across. And then instead of tracing the outline, I want you to just like circle in the shoulder blade. Start whichever side you want. Think of those chugs that we did on the outside of the shoulder, upper arm, right? And then that's what you're doing, just like kind of in the center of the shoulder blade. We're no longer tracing, right? And then across, and we'll do a little finish out with that on the right side. Again, I'm working more just really in the center of the shoulder blade, either side to side swiping or circles, if that makes sense, coordination wise. Couple more breaths. Couple more traces. And then as we do, try to sweep it just across and across and across and across. Awesome. Release your ball. And let's go ahead and grab our strap. Shake out the arms and then be free. Okay, let's do our first check-in. So I've got my strap. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, behind. Inhale, up. Exhale, behind. Inhale, up. Maybe notice if the distance of your strap has changed. You've been able to get a little shorter. Again, we don't need to do anything that forces the rotation. And then let's go around. Notice how this feels. I have a lot less clicking. I don't know about you, especially that right ropey arm, right? I'm getting a little more freedom moving around here. And then let's go the other direction, up and around. Up and around. All right. One more, up and around. Beautiful. Take them out. Okay. And then let's go into our shoulder cars. So it's controlled articulated rotation. And we're doing that from a place of stability, right? So again, we're going to come down into child's pose. Right? I always find these humbling because what I think of my range of motion when I take out all the extra is really quite different. So let's see how these feel this time, okay? So again, nuzzling into your child's pose. If you need to take a couple of rock backs to really feel comfortable, we've been standing the whole time, so not much to help the forward fold. If that feels tight for you, please take your time coming into it. All right, lengthen forward, and then let's see about bringing the head down. If the head didn't fit, again, pop it on the left hand or pop it on a block. Okay, we're gonna use the right arm. Again, as we lift it, we're gonna create tension in the system, make a fist. Inhale, take the arm up, 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 and then exhale, rotate it back and down. Inhale, take the arm up, 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 and then rotate it over to the front. Feel any different? Inhale, up, rotating around and down. Inhale, up, rotating to the front and down. One more. Keep the tension, try not to dump into the left, rotate it and down. And then up and rotation and forward. Release. Nice breath. Left arm. Lift it, make the fist. Awesome. Inhale, lift it up, and then begin to circle it back when it needs to, right? Nothing is forced. Inhale, reach, 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 and then full rotation coming around and down. Up, inhaling, up, and then letting it draw back, full rotation, and then down. Inhale, up, 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 full rotation and extension, and down. One more, lift it as high as you can, and then rotate as it continues, and down. Inhale, palm to the sky, lifting, 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 and then rotating, palm towards the earth, and down. Nice breath. Stretch the arms out. Move the fingerprints further forward. Get longer. Lift the shoulders higher. And then release. Slide the hands back under the shoulders, chin to the chest. Pick yourself up. Inhale, sweep wide. Exhale. Hands to heart. Go ahead and recline on your backs, please. And if you have that blanket, let's finish with a little extra, shall we? Okay. So if you've got your blanket, you're going to roll it out so it's open it up so it's really thin. It's a tiny roll. It's not big. It's really subtle. Okay. This comes right underneath on the back of the shoulder blades, not down in the back. Shoulders and arms are hitting above the blanket. It's just a little bit of this, just a little bit of that, okay? So coming down, arms out. Shoulders hit, arms hit, right? Tiny roll, it's not very big, it's subtle. It shouldn't feel like a back bend throughout the system, just feeling like a little bit of a heart opener. Make a nice breath in. Exhale, breath out. Yawn. Sigh. Nice and easy. Let the breath become effortless, easeful. Bring your legs together, bring your left foot onto your right thigh and spinal twist. Inhale, come on back to the center. Switch out the legs. Exhale, spinal twist. Draw both knees in, bring them to center, and roll all the way over to the right side, right arm overhead. Press yourself up. With hands at heart, I thank you each. Thanks for joining me for a little mid-afternoon refresh. May you reap the rewards of practice. Tashmana Shri Gurudev Namaha. Namaste.